Good morning, Mr. Dutka.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Your case isn't up for a minute yet. It's set for 9:20, which will be in just a minute. Mr. DeMeyer is here. However, Casey Strong is here. She wants to get back to work. Let's discuss her case. This is file 252630 LG Fawn River versus Jerry Caldwell. The defendant has failed to appear. This is a demand for non-payment of rent. The rent was $292 per month, which really is pretty low. So obviously this is a subsidized unit. Ms. Strong, what's the current arrearage?
Currently, there is rent due and owing in the amount of $859.96.
Through January?
That is through January. There are court costs of $200.50 for a total through January of $1,060.46.
He hasn't paid since October. I'll ask Lynn, the manager, is he still there?
He is not. A couple weeks before Christmas, I contacted Stony Summy. He is a vet and he was placed here by Stony. According to Stony, he has him somewhere safe, but his apartment's full of stuff.
All right.
And I would like to be able to work with Stony to get this gentleman's personal belongings so it doesn't go to the road.
And what I would
Yes.
note for the record and for Mr. Caudle and for Mr. Summy is if he turns in keys prior to the writ date and cleans out his property, he won't have an eviction on his record. So the hope is that we can avoid that, but we don't have him here to do any kind of other resolution.
Well, we have a second mailing here. He was served by attachment. So, Ms. Strong, are you going to ask for a default or do you want me to set it for a subsequent hearing?
I am going to be requesting a default based on that second mailing, only because we need to make some progress with this unit. But my hope, and I rely on Lynn to continue communicating with Mr. Summy and try to help Mr. Caudle land well in this circumstance.
All right. If you would email me a judgment.
Yes, sir.
The date for the writ would be 10 days from today. Judge Pattison can sign it in my absence. Today is the 9th. And so the date for the writ would be the 19th.
I'll get that submitted, Your Honor.
One of the reasons to go ahead and do the default, there's a waiting list. There's people that would like to have this apartment. There's not enough housing stock, period. And there's certainly not enough subsidized housing stock where the rent's $200. So
Well, we are no
sure if
longer subsidized, Your Honor.
Oh, you're
We were
not? So it's
sold.
all market rent now?
It
But you
is,
still
but
got a waiting list, I'm sure, of people that would like to move in.
well, the other problem is that Jerry could get a voucher from the USDA, and I have it right here. That's the other problem, and he needs this,
All right.
where he could go anywhere with this voucher. So I would really like to be able to work with him and be in touch with him so he can have this voucher.
And Lynn, if you
Well-
get communication from him, let me know and we can
Yes.
try to figure something out.
Well, Stony Summy is a great help for our veterans. And he's got him someplace. Is he a hoarder kind of a thing or just regular stuff in there?
It's just regular stuff.
All right.
But like I said, I was working with Stony and Stony informed me he does have him somewhere safe, which I'm thankful for, but I need some, either Stony be the middleman, somebody, he needs some
All right.
additional help.
I will send a copy of the judgment to Stony Summy.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Strong. I'm going to leave this afternoon about 2:30. So if you get that to me this morning, I'll sign it before I go.
I'll send it right over. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you,
All
Lynn.
right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's two cases. Good morning, Mr. Dutka.
Good
Mr.
morning
Demeyer
again.
is here. Let's see if his client is here. It is 9:19. Let's see who Samsung is. Good morning. You've logged in as Samsung. What's your name? It comes out backwards. Says you're on mute.
I'm on
Somebody said-
mute.
Yes, can
I'm
you hear
on-
me now?
I'm trying to, yeah,
All right,
I
well,
can hear you.
I can hear you now. What's your name?
Patricia Forrest Winters.
All right, well, you're in the right place.
Yes, sir. You gotta excuse me, I work third shift.
All right, well, all right, so you're in your sleep time. Is Randy Winters there?
Yes, Randy? The judge is here. He's coming now.
All right. Well, this is filed as a termination of tenancy. Your landlord, Mr. Demeyer, is here, and Mr. Robert Dutka is here for the landlord. As a tenant in a termination of tenancy case, you and your husband have the following rights. You have the right to hire a lawyer to represent you in this case. If you cannot afford one, we'll give you information about legal aid, and legal aid may be available to assist you. They're not here with us this morning. They usually are, or you could try to seek other legal advice. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County, where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must tell me at this first court appearance or make the demand in writing within 5 days of today using the jury demand form, and be prepared to pay the $50 jury demand fee unless the judge waives it for your inability to pay. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through community dispute resolution, and you can find, we could assist you with that if you're interested and the plaintiff is interested. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord that means the case would get dismissed, in which case they could file something called a conditional order of dismissal. This is filed as a termination of tenancy. Your landlord has filed an extensive document listing the alleged violations of your lease. Good morning. It says, I will not be renewing your release, which expires on 12/4/25. You have broken the lease so many times. Your daughter, grandson, granddaughter are not on the lease. There's a dog in the apartment. There's a whole bunch of issues, and they simply want you to move. Yes?
The dog.
She said she would be here in person.
Meg will be here in person? Okay. Or 11?
I have a lawyer.
Oh. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sir, I have a lawyer, Your Honor.
Who's your lawyer?
Mr. Freeman.
Who's your lawyer?
Mr. Freeman,
What's his first name?
Adam,
Okay.
and I also have fair housing involved.
All right, well, they allege that you've got unlisted people on the lease. They list that there's dogs in there. You're made threats to someone made threats to other people. Someone stole somebody's stuff off their porch. They want possession of their property back and they want you to leave. So the law says we have to adjourn this matter at least 7 days. If you have a lawyer, he isn't here. And I don't know where's Adam Freeman from?
Legal aid,
Oh, okay.
and I would like to go all the way with this. I need to speak with my lawyer first.
All right,
And,
well, we
see
have
what-
to set this for another hearing. So it could be
Okay.
set for a trial. Now, if you've got a dog in there, if you've
No, I
got people that are not on the lease that are living there, those are issues that could come up at a trial where people are placed under oath and we take testimony. But they want you to move, and you apparently don't want to move. And go ahead.
I don't know what is wrong with this lady. Okay, I have videos and rain. I don't know what is wrong with Vicky.
Well, would you stand in one place? You're making me dizzy there by walking around.
I am so sorry, Judge. The thing about it is, I get along with everyone. When I first moved in here, this house was completely trashed. I have pictures from the time I moved in. My grandson is a lieutenant in the Army. He is not around at this time. My grandson, my kids, my grandkids, they are in the Army. And we had events and stuff. I have the pastor involved. I have people that will stand up for me, because all of these are a bunch of lies, and I don't appreciate it.
All right, well, right now, they're just a contention. They want you to move, and they've asked me to have a hearing. So no one is here from legal aid. They're going to be here in a little bit, but the law requires that I continue this matter at least 10 days. And I'm going to be gone for a few days, Mr. Dutka. So
Okay.
that takes us to Friday, the 23rd.
I'm free that day if that's the only day the court is free.
All right, let's set this for 10:30 to Friday, January 23rd, 2/6 at 10:30. Now, if they get what they ask for, you would have 10 days from that day to move out or be subject to being evicted. But it sounds like we may need to have a trial and test these allegations. You've seen the notice. It has all these things. Now, let me ask this, Mr. DeMeyer. In addition, is there unpaid rent?
Yes.
All
I
right.
think Mr. Duck has got a sheet
Mr.
on that.
Ducka, when was rent last paid?
The last I knew, and I could be wrong on this, the last rent paid was in October. It might be longer than that.
No. I have
I
proof.
October.
All right. Now, at this point, Ms. Winters, they're not asking you to pay the rent. They're asking you to move. But in addition, it says on January 9th, they said they haven't paid their rent for 4 weeks. The church paid their rent on 8/28/25. So I don't know if there's a shortfall in the rent, but they're not asking you to pay the rent. They're asking you to move. And they allege a number of violations of the lease, including
In a packed landlord-tenant courtroom, case after case revealed how fragile housing stability can be. Tenants described unpaid rent, expired leases, and efforts to seek help from churches and organizations, while landlords push to regain possession. Judges explain legal rights, jury options, and timelines, reminding everyone that once a lease expires, the balance of power can shift quickly.
a bunch of stuff, cars, dogs, unlawful tenants, other issues.
And
All right,
Your Honor, I think it should be stressed that actually the lease ended on December 4th. So
Yes.
that's another factor, important factor, as a matter of fact.
the very first case we did today, Ms. Winters, the lease ended December 4th. So they sent the tenant a notice to quit ended on December 4th. They sent him a notice to quit on November 4th, saying we don't intend to renew your lease. This isn't a federally subsidized rental. It's just a rental. And when you have a lease and it expires and they give you a notice to quit, they can simply ask to terminate your tenancy. Now, they don't even need a reason other than the lease has expired. We want to sell the property. We want to tear it down and put up a parking lot. We want to have it empty so we can remodel it. They have a right to end the lease. So in other circumstances, they have to show just cause for termination of the lease. Now, so they can evict you at the termination of the lease. They can't evict you for a bad reason. But normally when the lease is up, they can simply ask for their property back. So they may not even need to prove all these allegations other than the lease is expired and we'd like to have our property back and then they'll move out. But apparently, or hopefully, legal aid's gonna assist you with this. And,
There's no-
say that again?
There's no communication, sir. There's no communication. That woman is very disrespectful. She is
Well,
very
maybe they don't want any communication. They just want you to move.
You know
And,
what?
so,
I understand that, sir. Perfectly clear. Okay. I didn't get this age for nothing. Okay. I'm letting you know
all right,
right
well,
now
we've got Mr. Dutka on one side, and we may have legal aid on the other side, but they haven't filed an appearance, and if they do, Mr. Dutka is certainly available to talk with them, but we're not gonna do anything until at least January 23rd at 10:30. So that's our next hearing. Okay,
Okay, can I bring my, is this the way that, because my grandson is in the army and he was lied on and the army is going, we want this to be, proven. I'm
well,
asking.
we probably won't have a trial on that day. We may just discussing it further. But,
Okay,
all right, so as I said, there's one thing, they allege there's violations of the lease, but Mr. Dutka brings up the lease is expired. So they may not even get into the allegations. I'm sure legal aid will have a different perspective on it. They may allege improper termination or something, but we'll address that further. Your son doesn't need to be here from the Army. You and Randy need to be here, but we'll address it further on Friday, January 23rd at 10:30.
Grandson.
All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr. Ducker.
Judge, please, Judge,
Yes.
I'm asking you, please, I'm asking you and I'm asking you, please. I'm asking these people to back up. They're stalking us. We have it on camera. They're stalking us. They're disrespecting us. They're sending people. They're watching us.
All right, well, all right, just everybody need to stay away from each other for the next couple of weeks. But at this point, they can't even accept any rent because they filed it as a termination of tenancy. So you stay in contact with your lawyer. The DeMeyers, I'll direct them to stay away from you. And
Sir,
let's see if we can get somewhere on January 20th. All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Dutka, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There's more to the story here. I've not heard from legal aid, but Meg is going to be here shortly, I think, on another case. And
That'll be
we'll,
good to find out.
all right, thank you. I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
DeMeyer, same for you.
Yes, sir.
Emotions rose as one tenant accused neighbors and landlords of harassment, while another case moved toward default after a tenant failed to appear. Despite the tension, the judge slowed things down, setting future hearings and urging communication and legal aid involvement. In eviction court, justice moves carefully, but the clock is always ticking.
All right, our next case is set for 9:40. It's 9:32. Samantha Sprague is here for the first time in 2026. Manager from Mystic Grove is here. And we've got Donna Carr and Shandy Faulkner. I was told that person is here. What's your name, ma'am?
Miss Carr.
Oh, all right. Why don't you come right up here and have a seat? In fact, why don't you just go to this side? It's closer. It'll be easier for you. Is legal aid going to come here on your behalf?
I think so. She asked me to appear in person here.
All right. Well,
Instead of
I'll
Zoom.
take a minute and advise you of your rights.
We had a discussion on the phone yesterday.
I think Meg's going to be here anyway at 11.
In person.
She's got another case in person, so I think she's got to come for yours as well. Who is Shandy Faulkner?
She's my daughter.
She's not here?
No, she didn't want to come in person, so she said she would appear by Zoom.
All right, well, then I need to wait. I don't want to do this twice. So it's 9:34. We'll let the clock tick for 6 minutes for Shandy Faulkner to join us. All All right, we're in hurry up and wait mode, and we'll see who comes in. We have this matter at 9:40, and then we don't have anything until 11. So when we complete this case, we'll take a long break. I think we may have had some civil cases also that were set for 10 that have resolved. So we've got a gap here. Maybe Miss Bauer wanted you to come in person so she could sit down and meet with you. Miss Sprague?
Yes.
Good morning. We're gonna have to bump this to another date before we're done. I'm gonna be gone for a few days, so the next available date I have is the 23rd of January. That's a Friday. Are you available on that day?
Oh, I do have a commitment at noon. What time would that be, Your Honor?
Probably 10:45.
Okay, and would this be the bench trial on that date?
Probably not. We'll see what happens with legal aid.
Did legal aid file an appearance, Your Honor?
No, they have not. They didn't in the last case either, so we'll see what's what.
If it's just an appearance, we should be fine with a 10:45 on the 23rd.
Okay. I've got two of these that they're extensive. The case just before yours has issues, and so does this one. It's a new year, 2026, a new crop of landlord-tenant cases to work through.
Your Honor, could I ask you a question?
Yes.
If she doesn't show up for my case, can I wait to talk to her?
Yes, we're gonna, no matter what happens, we're gonna adjourn this matter.
Okay.
Now, however, if Samantha Sprague doesn't show up, excuse me, the other defendant, Shandy Faulkner, she's subject to default. She's not late yet, but if she isn't here, they can get an order right now.
She said she would appear by Zoom. She did not want to come.
All right, well, if she has I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to come out in this cold morning either, but
Well, the wind's about to blow you down.
yes, it's 50 degrees, but the wind's blowing at 50 miles an hour. I'm hoping it'll blow all my leaves away
Very windy.
into somebody else's yard.
Yeah,
Of course, somebody else's leaves then blow into my yard,
they
so
go back
that's
and forth with the leaves.
not how it works. All right. It is 9:40. As soon as I start going through the rights, the other person's gonna show up. All right. But it is time. We try to start on time. This is Mystic Grove versus Donna Carr and Shandy Faulkner. Donna Carr is present. Cynthia, the manager from Mystic Grove, is present. And attorney Samantha Sprague is here from the Gann Law Firm on behalf of Mystic Grove. We seem to have a lot of tough cases out of this complex, but they're asking you to move out, and they're asking Ms. Faulkner to move out. They filed what's called a termination of tenancy, and as of October 5th, they served a notice on you. They want you to move. In such a case, you have a right to hire an attorney. If you cannot pay for an attorney, the court must give you information about legal aid, and apparently you've been in contact with legal aid and they may be en route. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. That's never been an issue, but the law requires that I tell you that. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must tell me at this first court appearance or make the demand in writing within 5 days and pay the $50 jury demand fee. If you cannot afford to pay the $50 fee, you can ask the judge to waive it. Excuse me, I'm trying not to sneeze. And if you have an inability to pay it, the court can waive the fee. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through community dispute resolution or mediation. If both parties are interested, the court can help set that up. Or if you can reach an agreement with the landlord, that means the case will get dismissed. Someone could file a conditional order of dismissal. Ms. Sprague and Cynthia, this is a subsidized rental.
Correct.
And what is the current rent?
Currently, her rental rate is, my apologies, Your Honor, I just need to get to the ledger for the other items. Her rental rate is $299 a month.
All right, at this point, they're not asking you to pay rent. They haven't asked for rent. In fact, when a termination of tenancy, they can't even accept rent. Now, they allege a number of serious violations of the lease, one of which is you continue to have an unauthorized tenant in the unit. Cynthia, who is the unauthorized tenant alleged to be?
Shandy and her
Yes.
boyfriend.
Yes,
She's not on the lease.
No,
Do you know the boyfriend's name?
I
No,
don't
I-
know.
Your Honor, his name is Patrick.
Patrick? What's his last name?
Wiltsey, Wiltire, something like that.
All right, so your daughter's there. She's not on the lease and she's
No.
gonna get you kicked out of your apartment.
She won't leave.
All right, so daughter won't leave.
Boyfriend either. I've asked numerous times for my daughter to
All right, well,
leave.
let's slow down here. Ms. Bauer is here. She has not filed an appearance. We knew she was on the way. I just advised the tenant of her rights. We tried to determine who the unauthorized tenant is, which is causing this termination of tenancy. And we learned that that is her daughter, Shandy Faulkner, who is on the notice, and her boyfriend, I believe his name is Patrick Wiltsey. So now that, and Ms. Bauer, are you going to appear in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. Meg Bauer, P 84816, appearing on behalf of defendant Donna Carr only.
All right.
And my apologies to the court.
You don't need to apologize. We knew you were on the way, and you've got another case coming up in about an hour, and you asked Ms. Carr to be here, I think, so you could meet with her personally. Ms. Sprague, my inclination at this point is to grant a default judgment against Shandy Faulkner, who was personally served and is not here, and reset the hearing on this defendant, Ms. Gann, for January 23rd. Does that make sense to you?
It does, Your Honor. My concern, we will of course take the default as to Ms. Faulkner. Given the defendant's indication that she has not authorized the unauthorized occupants to live there, would a notice of trespass be appropriate after the 10 days for Ms. Faulkner? Or because my concern with the default on one party, not multiples, is that it's not enforceable effectively. So we'll take the default, but that's my concern.
I've done it before.
Okay.
But Ms. Bauer, you're not representing Ms. Faulkner. Do you have a perspective from Ms. Gann's side?
Ms. Carr.
Ms. Carr, excuse me.
Although I was actually on the phone with Attorney Gann for about 20 minutes this morning. We would actually, had the plaintiff not asked for it or it been brought up, we were going to ask the court for entry of a default against the other defendant, as there was personal service on her. As you have indicated, I have worked on cases in this county where we have done the bifurcated eviction with one tenant remaining and one tenant being evicted. So I do believe that after the 10th day, a no trespass request or direction from the plaintiff would be sufficient to then grant the police authority to apprehend or otherwise take legal action against Ms. Faulkner were she to be on the premises after the 10th day. I don't know anything much about Mr. Travis, but it would seem he hasn't established residency here. He's not named.
Yeah, it's not, and other parties. If I do all other parties, it's going to evict.
She could I say, she kept bringing him over, and I told her.
Well, he
"Hey,
can
be
do it.
here."
All right. Well, he's apparently the source of many of these problems.
Yes, he is.
All right. I had a case once where a young man, he had some difficulties. He got a girlfriend. She wasn't really his girlfriend, but she wanted access to his house. And she moved all of her friends into his house. And they basically took it over and started it as a drug house. The poor guy was just overwhelmed. But at this point, Ms. Sprague, I'm going to do a default as to Shandy Faulkner, subject to eviction 10 days from today.
Your Honor,
Yes?
would it be possible to also do the default? I understand your perspective that and other occupants has the possibility of including Miss Carr, but could we do it as a Shandy Faulkner and all other occupants, not including Miss Carr, in order to
Yes.
ensure that it includes the I'm sorry, I don't have his name.
Yes.
His name, the boyfriend.
And all other occupants, not including Ms. Carr. So 10 days from today would be January 19th. I will be back on January 23rd. I'll be back on the 21st, excuse me. Meg, before you got here, I checked with Ms. Sprague to see if Friday, January 23rd at 10:45 would work for her calendar.
I believe I already have a couple of cases in front of you that
I
day.
think you do. So let's just continue as to Carr only. All right, Ms. Sprague, I would ask you if you would send me that judgment by email sooner rather than later. I'm going to be leaving this afternoon as soon as I finish a case, and I'll be gone for a bit. So if you would email that to me, we'll try to evict the non-appearing personally served defendant and other unauthorized occupants. We'll continue as to Ms. Carr and see what our circumstance is on January 23rd.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would note that I believe there was a money judgment requested in this matter. Let me confirm that with my file.
Well, I'm not going to grant it at this point
Okay.
because I don't know what the status is. We may not. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I believe Ms. Carr has attempted to pay her rent, but because this is a termination of tenancy, the plaintiff has refused to accept it. We would be willing to waive the Park Forest defense if the plaintiff would accept her rent so that she can continue to stay current.
Okay.
Are you willing to accept rent from Ms. Carr?
Yes, Your Honor, with that waiver of the Park Forest defense. But my apologies. If Ms. Bauer is not currently representing, can she do that waiver, or does the defendant need to state that on the
She
record?
placed her appearance on the record.
Okay.
But let's ask Ms. Carr, are you willing to continue to pay your rent even though in a termination of tenancy case, you could not be compelled to do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Rent is how much? $2.99? Is that what you told me? Yeah.
It's $2.99. Currently, we do show a balance on the account of.
Judge, there's a housing choice voucher involved in this case. So Park Forest actually had already been triggered anyways, despite their declining to accept the tenant portion of payment. But again, we've got other interests. We're not interested in raising that case. But my understanding is that the rent is not, we might have some questions about their current rental rate and whether that increased or not for the tenant portion. So.
Is
Attorney-
rent increased for 2026?
We show that currently her rent is at
241. It was 241.
290, it's at 299 currently. And it was previously at okay, Your Honor, it's a 91-page document. I just have to get to the right page. It was previously at 241 as of December, so January 1st, it did increase to 299.
All right, well, whatever she pays, plaintiff agrees to accept and not forfeit the right to terminate the tenancy. And we will try to get the other people out. Maybe we can salvage Ms. Carr's tenancy. All right, we'll continue this till Friday, January 23rd at 10:45. As far as Ms. Falter is concerned and her co-tenant, Mr. Wiltsey, if they're not out by the 19th, they're subject to being evicted. The order may not get signed till I return on the 22nd. But the sheriff can come put them out with that writ of eviction. So we'll see how we do. But you tell her she didn't show up. She was personally served and the judge entered a default and gave her 10 days to move out. Him
Your
too.
Honor, can I
Yes.
speak? I spoke to her this morning and I kind of felt like she really didn't care.
Well, if she doesn't care, then she should move. But right now her rent is 0. So that's probably a fair. So is his. At any rate, they've got 10 days to get out or they're subject to being evicted. And let's see how we're doing on January 23rd at 10:45. All right, thank you all. All right, we're going to take a recess. Ms. Bauer and I have got another case to do at 11. She'll have time to consult with this client and get ready for the next one. We'll stop the record, stop the live feed, and see if anybody brought in any cookies or anything else. Cynthia, I'm going to release you and you're good to go.